Channel 1. Channel 2. 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 Channel 1. Channel 2.
All of television. А я вам потім з чаєм її дам.
Та я свої яйця не з'їм.
Так ти зараз будеш тісто готувати.
Запечеш?
Да.
Можна я тобі тільки? Набери такі великі. Витираю.
On a crisp winter's morning, Yegor, Marichka and their 3 kids make Sunday brunch, a regular Ukrainian family together. But with 100,000 Russian troops amassing at the border, news anchor Marichka Padolko has something other than waffles on her mind.
We're making some preparations, getting our documents organized, thinking about what would be the plan if we have some alerts that something is happening, talking about this to our kids. If something really happens in Kiev, because we've been covering war in the eastern Ukraine, but if something happens in Kiev, what do I do first? Do I go to the TV station to report about this, or do I go home to see my kids and take care of my kids? Because I know that my husband will have 24 hours to show up to his commander and do what he has to do and not to be taking care of the family. So I have to be strong for everyone because I know that my kids are looking up at me.
One year later, Marichka lives a life of many parts. Her daughters are refugees abroad. Her husband is fighting on the front line. She lives at home with her son in Kyiv, often without power.
We have charged power banks, we have headlights, we have candles.
Did you ever imagine this would become normal? Does it feel normal?
I understand that I am suffering for a reason. The more I suffer, the less chances Russia has to win and the more chances we have for victory. The whole idea of targeting our critical infrastructure was not just to cut off the electricity, but cut off our spirits. And it will not happen.
When Marichka isn't at home, she's at the news studio, where generators keep the lights on.
I've been announcing so many difficult stories from different parts of the globe, but I never was in the situation to be a part of this story. My husband was the one who believed that invasion was going to happen, and he was worried about the real invasion. I turned on my Facebook and I saw that Putin was alive. I was listening to what he was saying, and I understood what it was coming to. And the timing was such that the moment he was finished, I heard some explosion in Kyiv.
То бачите, навіть в укритті 1+1 продовжує працювати. Марічка от прямо посеред нашого укриття.
Я щойно говорила по скайпу зі своїми дітьми. Дуже переживаю за них, але все добре. I knew that my husband was already on the way to Kyiv to join his unit. He had only 20 minutes at home, and he had a soup, and then just went. He said something like, "See you in summer."
Мої хороші, ми виходимо.
45-year-old Yegor Sobolyev is a former lawmaker. 1 year ago, he was working in IT and a civilian volunteer with the Territorial Defense. Today, he's a battle-hardened soldier fighting on the front line.
Diego, You look better and better. Glad to see you here.
Yeah, it's good to see you. It's almost 1 year, you know.
Yeah.
When Russia launched its full-scale invasion, the goal was to seize Kyiv quickly, topple and replace the government. But as they reached just north of the capital, the Ukrainians were ready.
This really was the front line.
Yes.
The Russians never came further than
No, this is
where
last place of Russian occupation from this part of Ukraine.
Right.
And free Ukraine started here.
Putin unleashed a massive attack. Tanks rolling across the borders, fighter jets and attack helicopters in the skies, and endless waves of troops.
Всі ми тут, наші військові тут, громадяни суспільства тут.
A steadfast President Zelensky summoned his countrymen to defend their land, and ordinary people like Yegor heeded the call of duty. It was the only way for Ukraine to survive.
There were injuries on this side?
Yeah, here.
Right.
And one guy is dead.
Right.
On another front line, but
Right.
he's dead.
Today, over 107,000 Ukrainians are dead, according to the UN. Towns and villages are under occupation. Widespread allegations of war crimes in places like Izium, Mariupol and Bucha. And countless innocent civilians scarred forever by the atrocities they've seen.
After the liberation, after their retreat, a lot of people started to come from Bucha, because this is Bucha. They were so scared, they were so terrorized.
They must have been so traumatized, those poor people.
No one expected Ukraine to be able to stand its ground, not least Vladimir Putin. While Russia rapidly seized new territories, it struggled to hold on to many of them, losing the key cities of Kharkiv, Kherson, and Irpin.
It's a place of the most important victory in Ukrainian history. We saved independence. For the first time, we defended our capital and saved the independence for the whole country. I am extremely proud. I think this is the most important job in my life. Let's go.
Okay. Home sweet home.
Sweet home, yeah.
Yegor shows us the basement where he and the troops slept.
My place was right here. Bullets, machine gun, helmet, caps were laying there, and good friends.
If we speak honestly, it has been a year of great sacrifice and of loss for Ukraine. And also, I'm struck by, for you as a family on one level, because I saw this very tight unit, a very close family, enjoying their weekends together, making waffles, sitting at lunch. And now your family's scattered, and you have to go off to war all the time. I guess you can't allow yourself to think about that, but the personal sacrifice actually is very real.
Yeah, but I'm happy every day because my girls are safe, and it inspires me. It makes me stronger on the front line. I think this is the best place for them to be now. It would be better to live in previous life, but it is impossible.
This family, like so many others, separated because of the war. The girls now living apart from their mum, their dad, and their brother.
We tried to stay together as long as we could until we saw drones above our building and saw them just land and kill 3 people. Sending girls away from the family was so far the hardest decision of the previous year. Not seeing my husband go off to the front line, because this is something that I expected, but I never expected my girls would be taken away from me for some period of time.
I can't remember how the things were before because it just doesn't seem real anymore. You just learn how to live like that, but sometimes you just think about how it was before, you just really, really miss it. Even though I can do most of things on my own, I just really miss having my parents around.
We have only two options: fighting in freedom or dying in slavery, in occupation. And this is a very simple choice. I am extremely happy that we are saving our freedom and our chance to develop our country after the victory.
Yegel's only seen his family 4 times since the start of the war. The hope is that the day will come that when he goes home, he won't have to leave again.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're going to love it.
So, what's good to read? And we mean really good to read right now. Well, that's where Charlie and Kate Gibson can help.
Join us for the new podcast series. It is called The Bookcase with Kate and Charlie.
We will make sure you love what you read.
Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
Це мої іграшки. Цього кролика я люблю дуже сильно, але ще більше я люблю цього медведика, бо мені його подарили, коли мені виповнилося рік. Я його дуже сильно люблю, і я навіть не можу без нього заснути. То я обов'язково беру його з собою і роблю щось на ньому.
For the last year, 11-year-old Angelina Potapenka has been living underground, in the windowless basement of a blood bank where her mum works in Kharkiv. Despite the constant shelling, it was still safer to live here than her old home.
Мені як це подобається тут, як це тут все зробили, щоб було дуже уютненько, щоб це було гарнесенько. Ми хотіли навіть прибрати ці плакати, ми хочемо десь, і ми зробимо це, колись ми це зробимо. Обов'язково тут буде дуже красиво і буде майже як вдома.
How has your life changed since the start of the war?
Напевно, я б не сказала, що воно прям кардинально змінилося, але, напевно, є якісь переміни. Мені кажеться, що переміни були, напевно, в кращу сторону. Тому що ми частіше почали бачитися з моєю мамою і частіше почали з нею гуляти. Але, напевно, було і теж погано, то що поїхала моя подруга, з якою я вже дружу, спілкуюся вже 5 років, вона одна подруга. Ілі 1,5, не знаю.
Despite all the sacrifices Angelina and her mum have made, safety can still be fleeting in Ukraine.
Це, напевно, було десь, пару днів після того, як почалася війна, і Це ми сиділи на 3-му поверсі, було дуже багато донорів. Ну, я там сиділа, я там малювала. Мама дуже різко відчиняє двері і кричить мені: «Ангеліна, біжи!» Люди і падали, і там і кричали. Ну, я чомусь не кричала, я просто бігла, і я не знала, що мені робити. Стеклянні двері, там їх відчиняють, я теж така біжу, бачу донори на підлогах, отак от лежать.
These images were captured by a camera nearby.
Я нічого не розумію. Я просто чую пуф, а я не розумію нічого. І прибігаю, я така сижу, і я не розумію. Я в цій кімнаті тут сижу, я не розумію. Я нічого не розумію. Ну, але потім мені розповіли те, що прилетіли ракети там, і там людей повбивало, донорів.
There are going to be children in America who will watch this and they have no understanding of what war is like. How would you explain what living in a war is like to children in other countries?
Ну, я, напевно, не зможу так сказати, але, я спробую якось донести, але це буде складно, але я постараюся і, можна так сказати, це страшно, це тривожно, це страх, це сльози, це крики, але не можна просто сидіти і боятися. Краще вже десь піти і провести дуже багато часу класно, чим сидіти вдома і боятися, бо воно навіть додому до тебе прилетіти може. Тому, якщо навіть війна, потрібно жити нормальним життям, яким ви жили раніше. Ну, хоча б навіть постаратися ним жити. Все одно потрібно жити, а не просто ховатися від цього. Не можна від цього ховатися, бо це буде нерозумно, тому що ти нічого цим не зробиш краще. Тільки гірше зробиш собі, тому потрібно жити і радіти.
And that's exactly what Angelina's mom is trying to do for her daughter, to give Angelina some semblance of normal childhood again. She packs up her daughter's clothes to send her off to a camp for children in Ukraine's west, where it's safer, 12 hours away from their blood bank home, where for a few weeks she can be a kid again.
Давай помогай маме вставать. Давай. Надо сложить сейчас все носочки еще. И плойку давай, и плойку.
Борода отклеится. Немного у него уже помялась ботинка.
Да, я потом вам скину номер. Я возьму Наталье номер телефона. Вы можете сейчас. Или я не буду звонить, может, вы продиктуете.
This is a story about loss and sacrifice. And no one's felt it more than the children of Ukraine. a war waged by a dictator with imperial ambitions who's inflicted unspeakable harm onto the youngest and most vulnerable, impacting 7.8 million children. Their childhoods taken from them, but like the country they call home, their resilience burns bright.
We just arrived in the children's camp in the west of the country, and there's been an air raid siren blaring across the country. All areas are now on high alert. And so many of the children have had to come underground. No time for breakfast, no time for class, no time for play. They've got to be aware, potentially, of Russian bombs landing. We're now 2 floors down below ground in an air raid shelter. You can hear the sound of teenagers, of young kids playing and enjoying themselves.
Ті дітки, котрі танцювали, вони знаходяться тут вже з 9 грудня. Тобто вони вже більше місяця тут. Тому вони вже більш контактні і більш адаптовані. А ті дітки, котрі ось сиділи у нас і більше дивились, вони тільки заїхали. Вони тут тиждень, тому їм ще більш складно. Найскладнішим викликом було розговорити цих дітей, щоб вони пішли на контакт, бо вони приїхали все в собі. Перші декілька днів ми навіть не могли знайти спільну мову з дітьми, бо вони всього боялися. А зараз вони вже пішли на контакт, вони працюють з психологами, проводяться всебічні психологічні тренінги, тому зараз, звичайно, це вже інші діти з вогником щасливого дитинства.
Для начала мне было страшно, а потом я начинала потихоньку привыкать. И все, теперь не боюсь ни бомбы, ни гранаты. Да мне уже ничего не лякает. Ни бомбы, ни сирены.
Разом зібралися на пікнічок.
The kids have activities every day to take their minds away from the war.
Злякались, сховались.
Lisa, give me 5.
The last time Angelina went bowling was just before the war, on her 10th birthday. This is her first time since.
Потому что там у меня был день каждый один и тот же, а тут каждый день разный. Поэтому, я думаю, это такой перезапуск такой приятный.
Это нормально.
Но мы про войну не говорим, потому что эта тема, может, кому-то она не нравится, может, кому-то она болючая. Мы на нее стараемся не очень часто говорить, мы стараемся о чем-нибудь веселом говорить, чтобы всем было комфортно находиться в этой обстановке.
If you had the choice, would you rather have had the experience or better not to have had the experience?
Ну, если бы, конечно, хотела бы, наверное, чтобы этого не было, но оно есть, и это уже не прекратить.
Взагалі не знаю, як воно мені допомагає. От я приходжу сюди, я чувствую себе в атмосфері і просто про все забуваю, розумію, що в мене є тренування.
15-year-old Ivan spent more than 8 months living under Russian occupation in a village north of Kherson. He was arrested, interrogated, and tortured by the Russians.
Сидим, коротше, вдруга, русня ворвалася, поставила на стінки мордою. Вони, відвели його в сторонку, спочатку порозмовляли, вони, спитали, хто я такий. Він, об'яснив, що це, мій друг, хорошо общаємося, він прийшов мені допомагати, він, хороший хлопець. Потім вони побачили телефон, мене вже посадили, типу, розблокируй телефон. Я розблокував, вони почали шукати і побачили в інстаграмі переписку. Вони це все побачили і питають, ти хто такий? Кажу, ну брат. Кажу, типу, що таке? Кажу, та нічого, типу, давай пиши, дзвони, зараз будемо узнавати, де. Типу, спочатку вони почали питати, хто він такий. І вони одразу почали давати мені ляща, типу, сідай і відвезли мене в підвал. А в одній камері сидів ще мужик, вже під лет 40, він щось теж, з руснею не дружив. І вони, типу, почали так руки смотали.
They tied your hands behind your back.
Так, руки смотали, потім почали, типу, давати ляща. Вони давали ляща і по ногам дубинками стріляли, по печені. Це було больно. Ну, я держався, коротше. І потім, як вже оттуда виходив, там йшла теж одна така клітка, типа, іде така цеп і така палка. І беруть людину, вішають вверх ногами, хлопець 22 роки, обматують електрошокером і обливають воду, а потім отак і робили, допитували. І вони так минут 10 так робили, типу він вже орає, вже починає там щось кончатися, а вони стоять і вгорають. Я вже стою в шокі, мене починає телепати, я розумію, що вдруг зі мною щось таке може бути. Коротше, він вже умер, типу, каже, що теж так хочеш? Кажу, ні, я так не хочу. Ну, каже, якщо будеш щось трендити неправильно, типу, будемо так само тебе робити. Пацана просто спустили, і він так валявся, не знаю, мене 15-20, бо приїхав генерал, їхній генерал, що-то з ними розмовляв. Генерал їм типу, сказав, заховати цей труп, типу, щоб ніхто не бачив. Вони, коротше, взяли той труп, перемотали якийсь целофановий пакет і посадили в машину і куди-то відвезли. Воспоминания очень плохие. Бывают такие моменты, что очень задумываюся, що мене просто розриває криша. Понимаю, що я нічого не можу зробити з собою. Просто йду на кровать, лягаю, включаю музику і стараюся не думати о цьому. Но я розумію, що воно в мене з голови не вийде. Стараюся не думати про нього. Но в мене все одно не виходить про це думати. Я не знаю, що з цим робити. Підтримки в мене тут багато, бо є такі люди, що мене не розуміють.
These are the children of Ukraine. Scared, scarred, and robbed of their childhoods, but still standing strong.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yes. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do? Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
You're watching America's #1 streaming news. Keep streaming with ABC News Live. He may not look like central casting for a movie star hero, but what he did and how he risked it all to save hundreds of lives from terror are what heroes are made of.
Really? That guy?
What's the life and death truth behind what he did? Truth and Lies, The Informant. Listen now wherever you get your podcasts.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey, I'm David Muir. Wherever the story, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Taking the stand.
The defendant, Richard Alexander Murdoch, wishes to take the stand.
Testifying in his own defense, Alex Murdaugh sat before a jury in his own double murder trial today, speaking for the first time in a case watched across the country. Plus,
how would you explain what living in a war is like to children in other countries?
І, ну, можна так сказати, це страшно, це тривожно, це страх, це сльози, це крики.
365 days into the war in Ukraine, we report on those carrying the weight of the war on their shoulders, the nation's children, and the literal fight for their lives. And
these guys are superstars. #1 album, first week with Gunna. And then I realized rap is back on trial.
Young Thug, Gunna, and the national conversation that has ignited as prosecutors use lyrics as evidence and the ripple effects it can have on artists coast to coast. Good evening, I'm Phil Lipoff, in tonight for Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We are following those stories and much more, including the 2 intense winter storms hitting large swaths of the country, impacting millions of Americans. Plus an update for you from Orlando after the shooting that took the life of a local journalist and a 9-year-old child. And then the NTSB is out with its preliminary report, the Secretary of Transportation on the ground in Ohio, and what officials are zeroing in on as the cause of that toxic train crash. Our correspondents are across the country covering it all for us tonight. But we are going to begin with the dramatic day at the trial of the once prominent South Carolina defense attorney Alex Murdaugh. The accused murderer taking the stand himself to testify. Murdaugh swearing to tell the truth to the jurors and the judge, and then proceeded to say he did.
Didn't know I was asleep. Your voice still echoes in my head. Your gentle touch, the words you said. Then you vanished like a ghost. You were gone when I awoke. But there's nothing I can do, 'cause I'm drowning in the darkness without you. Without you. Drowning in the darkness without you. Just yesterday, time is creeping like a snake. All my messages unread, I lay silent in my bed.
Requested to the north side of Glendale Lane.
This all-new Aria is an elegant EV.
Yeah, with 389 horsepower. And all-wheel drive.
It's beautiful.
It's a beast.
It's electric.
With an edge.
Oh, let's go with that.
Ooh, the Chewy app. Clumping litter, salmon pate. We have enough to splurge on catnip toys. I feel so accomplished. Pet me, please.
Great prices, happy pets. Chewy.
Ooh, hearts.
Yep, they're back.
Who's this?
He appears whenever you eat Honey Nut Cheerios.
Like a genie?
Sort of. I can grant you a bowl of Honey Nut Cheerios, which can help lower cholesterol.
Oh, I wish Debbie hadn't joined the mall walking club.
Hearts are back.
Bravo! You use the Quicksilver card from Capital One with no annual fee and unlimited 1.5% cash back on every purchase everywhere. That makes you the hero of every purchase. What's in your wallet?
The company you keep is the sexiest show on TV.
What do you do?
I'm a criminal.
I'm CIA.
The leading stars have genuine chemistry. It will have you glued to the screen.
We know who killed Gloria.
You think this is our guy? Prove it.
There it is. Felony assault and domestic violence. Did you kill Gloria Nunmuck?
I'd like you to leave now.
I need to find Karina.
Alright, page Dr. DeLuca down to the ER.
Hey, have her find me, okay? Have her find me first because I don't want her coming down there and see my eyes.
Alright. Her QRS is narrowing. Vitals look better. Head and neck CT are negative. But her renal function is abnormal and her CK is elevated. Has Bishop had any crush injuries or any trauma on any of your calls?
I mean, I haven't been at the station much lately, so I don't know. I don't think so.
Any excessive alcohol use?
Bishop, no.
Dr. DeLuca, still an emergency C-section.
Fight consult.